Hi everyone! Welcome to Art with Bianca. Happy Tutorial Tuesday! Today, I wanted to give you all of the figure drawing basics. Some principles and tips that I think will help you get started with confidence. I also made a figure drawing video that I'll link right here, and the structure of the face using Riley's method. Both of these links will be in the description below. Let's go? Let's go! Now, if you were to measure, the perfect man or the ideal man would be 8 heads from head to toe, according to Leonardo da Vinci. When we talk about figure proportions, most people will not have those 8 head dimensions. A supermodel will have the closest version to an ideal 8 head body, and that would be 7.5 heads. The normal everyday person is only going to be around 7 heads. Now let's quickly map out where we're going to start putting the shoulders and the hips. And a good rule of thumb is to make them opposite angles. I'm also just putting lines through all of the limbs. When you finish, this is what they will look like. Now let's break it down and show you how you can measure the different lengths of the body. First we have the head. Then we have half a head for the neck. For the normal person, you're going to want to put 1.5 heads for the torso. From the top of the pelvis to the knee is 2 heads, and from the knee to the bottom of the foot is also 2 heads. Now, if it's a model type of person, it's going to be 1 head and then 1/2 of a head for the neck. And for the torso, it's going to be 2 heads and then 2 heads from the pelvis to the knee and the knee to the bottom of the foot. Curved versus straight lines. So a good rule of thumb is that a curved line will be next to a straight line. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you want to draw an arm. This is the shoulder, the elbow, and then this is the inside of the arm. And this is the forearm area. Let me center this. All right, now this is where the fingers will go. Let me illustrate the same concept with legs. This is what 2 curved lines next to each other look like. It doesn't look natural. Now I'll show you another example of what it would look like with 1 straight line and a curved line. Okay, now let's analyze this. Here we have a straight line, and on the opposite side, we have a curved line. Same thing for the thigh. We have a straight line, and on the opposite side, a curved line. And even when you dissect the knee, we have the kneecap, which is curved, and then the back of the knee, which is straight. If you look at the other one, there are 2 curved lines next to each other, and it looks really wonky. All right, now let's work on the torso and do the rice sack exercise. You essentially want to think about the torso as a sack of rice. So imagine you have this bag and it's got this whole bunch of rice in it, and it's just kind of sitting there, and you see that there's like this little part where it's overlapping. With figure study, this is essentially what you use. The top line would be the shoulders, and then the bottom line would be the pelvis. Now imagine you see this rice sack kind of head on, and there's a little bit of foreshortening going on. And foreshortening just means that something is a lot closer, and therefore it's a little bit more distorted. What's further in the back will be smaller, and what's more in the front or towards the front will be larger. I say it's a great idea to practice this and to just draw a whole bunch of rice sacks in different positions. And you can even find pictures online and try to just emulate their form. Okay, now let's practice with an actual person. Here is a gorgeous Victoria's Secret model. I found her picture on Google and I liked the pose. So I have the head and the line for the shoulders. And right now I'm going to draw my line for direction. You see that her body is somewhat curved to the right and her pelvis is up on the right side. Usually the shoulders and the pelvis will always be opposite angles. So at some point, if you were to lead them out, they would intersect. This is where the ribs would go. And I just use like a rounded rib shape. And it looks like her arm is very foreshortened, so it's going to look a little bit weird. Now with this, I am thinking in terms of shapes. The hand is more like an oblongated triangle, and same with the forearm. I'm also trying to keep in mind my curved versus straight line rule. And now I'm just going to draw lines out to where the middle of the legs would be. And I'm simplifying the feet into triangle shapes. And let me make this middle line a little bit closer together. The pelvis itself could be kind of like triangle, almost like a pyramid. Now I'll do a straight line next to this curved line, and then this line should also be straight. I'm not making it straight, so you'll kind of see the difference in the other one and how satisfying this one will look versus the other one. It'll be like a short little study or example illustrating the straight versus curved line rule. Yeah, already the right side is much more satisfying to look at. Let's just keep going. All right, now we have the foot, and let's not forget to give her a neck. And let's define her head and put some hair in here. And of course, her boobs and her bra. And she has this nice little defined ab over here where there's some nice contrast. Now I'm just kind of like trying to see where the lights are and just darken all the places where it's going to be shaded. You know, this is a very diffuse picture. It's got a lot of diffuse lighting, and it's probably already edited and stuff. I really enjoy doing like actual figure drawing, and figure drawing is amazing. There's this awesome channel. It's called New Masters Academy. They have clothed and nude models. Such a valuable resource. I'll leave the channel in the description below. Now you want to think in terms of shapes. Let's analyze this arm. It's almost like a cylinder. And if you notice, the way light hits a cylinder, this middle section is actually the darkest. The shape of the hand can always be equated to an oblongated triangle, I like to call it. And then fingers as well. They're more like cylinders coming out from that triangle. We can continue up the arm and illustrate the same concept. And now let's even look at a leg and what that looks like. The top of the thigh will be much thicker or larger than where the knee will hit. So you want to make a larger circle for the top versus the bottom. And when you start shading, when the light hits it, you'll notice the light will hit it a little bit differently based on the distribution of mass on the shape. For the knee, you can draw a circle. And I'm doing the same process, thinking in terms of these more three-dimensional shapes, connecting the top of the cylinder to the bottom. You could also put like a little circle for the ankle. The foot will come out as kind of a triangle, like an isosceles triangle. Now let's zoom in and see how we would break down the foot of this model. I'm starting with an elongated triangle, and then I'm adding this little piece for the toes, making circles for them. And then there's the ankle, and you can kind of start seeing how it all starts coming together. Okay, now let's review what we've learned. Figure proportions, basic figure outline, thinking in terms of shapes, and the curved versus straight line rule. I really hope it helps. Now you can watch the next figure drawing video and know exactly what I'm talking about. Check out the next video for another tutorial.